everyone. I'm Ruthie Owen, and you're watching the third and final episode of Future-Proofing the Philippine Energy Mix, a three-part roundtable discussion series in partnership with Aboitiz Power. Here, we'll be exploring key challenges that hamper the energy transition of the country and the possible pathways that will still bring us closer to our energy goals. For our final time, let me introduce our panel of experts. We have Undersecretary Mylene Capungcol of the Department of Energy.
Morning.
Also have Professor Wally Del Mundo, an Associate Dean of the College of Engineering at the University of the Philippines, Diliman.
Good to see you again, Ruth.
Finally, we have Fortunato Atoy Lainez, President and CEO of the National Transmission Corporation.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's begin. In our previous episodes, we've looked at where our energy mix is and discussed the potentials of wind and solar power. Now we look to the future and explore solutions to roadblocks. Coming from our earlier discussions, we now know the Philippines has to contend with a number of challenges that hamper our energy transition journey. Let's talk about this and how we can solve them. Initial high cost for Prof. Wally. What makes renewable energy expensive to build, thus making electricity expensive for the consumer?
If I remember when we were pioneering the solar energy in the country, this is 1990 Ruth. The cost of solar cell then was $20 per 1 square centimeter. That means 1 watt. Today, the cost of solar is $0.1 per the same quantity. Noon, hindi namin ma-imagine na pwedeng ma-integrate sa grid ang solar. And to me, it's a big lesson na meron palang pwedeng mangyari. No? So one, ang malaking factor niya na yung nung sinasabi nung when the technology really has commercialized to a quantity that the production would be enough para maibaba yung presyo. So that's why yung sinasabi ko nga kanina na hindi natin dapat sukuan, wag tayong mag-lose ng opportunity kasi pinopostpone mo yung opportunity na magkaroon ng economies of scale. So kailangan magkaroon ng economies of scale.
Can I just throw in battery? Will that be a game changer for solar, for example, to address intermittency, ganyan?
Oh yes, of course, very much. No, for example, we have simulated the DOE's 2050 plan na 40% ay renewable energy. And in fact, ang title ng research, hindi pa namin na-publish to, katatapos lang actually last month, no? Na ano ang impact ng high penetration of variable renewable energy in the grid. So we've simulated solar and wind. And unang-una, ang findings namin dito ay kung manggagaling sa variable renewable energy, mainly ang pupunta doon sa 40% ng energy natin manggagaling dito, yung capacity ng solar in particular, lalampas doon sa peak demand in the afternoon.
Yes.
So, what are you going to do? Ibig sabihin, hindi mo pwedeng hindi gagamitan ng storage dahil lalampas. Kasi yung lalampas sa tanghali, kailangan ma-store at yun naman ang gagamitin natin sa gabi. So that means hindi pwedeng walang battery
Pero tama
para
yan. So, ibig sabihin, sinacharge ng solar sa araw yung sobra niya to the battery para
Yes.
magamit mo siya from sa gabi. So, dagdagan ko lang, no? That sort of setup already exists. Sa Amampulo at saka sa Balesin, ginawa namin ng solar farm, tapos may battery. So, 60% na ngayon ng capacity is powered by solar and battery. Pag wala ng araw, let's say 5 o'clock till let's say 9, battery na yung
Gagamit.
gumagana. So,
Yes.
imbes na diesel genset na pagkamahal-mahal,
Oo.
pwede nang gamitin sa ganun. So yung pwede rin natin gamitin yan sa off-grid para
yes.
bumaba yung
Exactly.
Tama.
yung presyo ng kuryente, di ba? Yusek Mai, what can you add to that na ano pa yung pwede natin gawin sa battery? Anong ginagawa ng DOE sa battery para maging mainstream siya para makinabang yung
Katulad nga na nasabi ko noong last episodes natin, meron tayong tinatawag na Green Energy Auction Program. And dun sa JEA 4 natin, we introduce what we call the Integrated RE and Energy Storage System. So battery. So na-require namin initially, based on a study by an international consultancy firm, parang 20% nung capacity nung RE should be supplied or supported by energy storage. I-increase niya lang or i-extend niya lang yung utilization niya kasi tama na nag-generate ang solar high during daytime, pagka sa gabi bumababa na siya. So with the battery na-extend yung operations nung planta. So, and maganda dun sa IRES, based on our policy, it is treated as renewable energy and therefore they can avail the
Of the
the incentives under the RE Act.
okay.
Okay, good.
So, Atoy, our existing power grid is not always equipped to handle the variable and decentralized nature of renewable energy sources like solar and wind, di ba? So, especially for remote locations, yung mga off-grid natin, no? So, this pose significant connectivity challenge. What are some ways we can overcome this? Pwede ba yung distributed energy resource na tinatawag natin?
Talagang ang isang way dyan para ma-address yung, lalo na yung sa malalayo, is yung tinatawag na distributed energy resources. At kahit naman sa main grid, malaking bagay din na gumamit ka ng DERs na tinatawag for short. At ang isang pang-address doon sa variability ng solar and wind ay paggamit ng battery. And in fact, we will soon be having this biggest solar and battery storage facility in the world. Yung MTerra or yung Terra Solar Project in Gapan, Nueva Ecija. No, that will be the biggest in the world once umandar siya. And the good thing about this Terra Solar Project, yung battery niya is equipped with yung tinatawag na grid-forming inverters para makatulong ito to help stabilize the grid. At kami nga, yung aming association ng electrical engineers, yung Institute of Integrated Electrical Engineers, para matulungan naman ang ERC to come out with the technical requirements, merong ad hoc committee which incidentally I also head this committee para mag-develop ng supplement doon sa Philippine Grid Code para ma-address yung technical requirements na kailangan paggamit nitong battery energy storage system para makatulong sa power grid natin.
So I just want to add, alam mo, they're predicting that battery actually, the price of battery is still high, no? Pero bumaba na yan.
Bumababa.
It will go the same way. Yung
Yeah.
sinasabi mo
Yes.
nga, noon yung solar, ganito, hindi namin inisip na bababa siya, maging efficient siya ng ganito kalaki yung impact. Battery is going the same way.
Yes.
So, and I think early on, like now, ginagamit na natin,
Yes.
magiging efficient pa. So, we're on the right track. In fact, Bloomberg, the BSP, and the Department of Energy
Yes.
held a roundtable discussion. I was there, but they were talking about solar and battery that will, by 2050, will almost be mainstream.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Renewable
correct.
energy and battery.
Correct.
So yun, no? It's quite promising. Dito muna tayo kay Yusek Mai. Do you think the Philippines can have 50% RE share by 2040 and still have reliable and affordable electricity for all?
Yeah. Miss Ruth, kasi yung strategic direction ng DOE, yung tinatawag natin na ARC, no? Yung access to affordable energy, pero hindi ibig sabihin lang na tama na nabigyan mo lang siya ng kuryente. Something that will benefit also out of that connection or access sa grid. So, dapat nakapag-aral sila, nakakapag, yung secure, yung lugar, walang masyadong security problems, and then syempre yung health nila, no? Kasi nabawasan na yung mga dirty kerosene or ano, no? And then second is reliability and resiliency, no? So, alam natin na tayo ay madalas bisitahin ng mga kalamidad, and we wanted that all the energy system will be reliable. And third is dapat mas sustainable and clean, no? Ibig sabihin, you produce your own electricity, which is DER is one of them, and then kung ano yung meron tayo dito sa bansa, i-harness natin. That's why we're pursuing yung mga indigenous renewable energy sources as mainstream supply natin in the future.
Kasi, di ba, Prof. Wally, where the Philippines is made up of more than 7,000 islands. So, parang para i-connect natin lahat yan, di ba, Atoy?
Hindi
Parang mission impossible. So,
Yes.
the DER, the Distributed Energy Resource, yung sinasabi natin, is parang maglagay ka dyan ng renewable energy sa isang lugar, parang stand-alone siya. Hindi siya kailangan na reliant siya sa ganito, bumagyo, for example. Tapos, bumagsak yung linya, wala nang kuryente. Pero kung DER ka, distributed ka, nandyan ka, parang kang, independent. Right? Hindi ka, So, and I think that's, the Department of Energy is working towards doing that.
Tsaka if I may add, yung consumer kasi na nag-undergo or nag-invest into distributed energy resources, mas nafe-feel nila empowered sila eh. Kasi imagine, they produce their own electricity na dati hindi mo ma-imagine na kaya
Minsan
nila
last on the line sila, so parang intermittent din yung mga kuryente nila. And how about you, Prof. Wally? Do you think the Philippines can have 50% RE share by 2040 and still have reliable and affordable electricity for all?
Yes, I'm confident on that. Wag lang bibitawan ng DOE ang GEA. Kasi yung GEA, nakita ko ang pinakang effective na programa.
Yung green energy auction.
Yung green energy auction. Kasi number one, it's the government that says, ito ang gusto kong number, capacity, at kung kailan ko gustong dadating itong capacity na ito ng renewable energy. So that guarantees actually the quantity. So kaya sabi ko, ito yung effective. Pangalawa, yung GEA ay mayroong price discovery mechanism na natural and competitive. Kasi competition nga ito. So nakita natin yung experience natin sa GEA 2, GEA 3. There was a time na ang price cap ni ERC ay masyadong mababa. And the private sector medyo nag-react, di ba? And the following GEA, na-adjust ni ERC ngayon. So, ibig sabihin, napakaganda ng mekanismo na kaya niyang hanapin yung yung least cost. Ibig sabihin, nakukuha mo yung reasonable na price eh. No? Unlike before, yung feed-in tariff nga na galing dito may prescription ng government, ito ang price ko. O sige, lahat kayo yan ang presyo. Pero itong GEA, nakita ko na natural na mekanismo na naggagaranti ng capacity. And at the same time, dahil mayroong competitive and price discovery dynamics between the ERC na nagsaset ng price cap at yung private sector na sumasali doon sa competition. So nakikita ko na nakukuha na babalanse. And that's why sabi ko, wag lang bitawan ng DOE yung programa. I think
It will work.
makukuha natin yung 50%, yung plano, ang vision natin sa 2050.
Okay. Naman, President Atoy.
Nabanggit naman nga ni Prof. Wally at saka ni Yusek Maylin na talagang serious ang government, lalo na dito sa Green Energy Auction Program. So talagang pag minentain ito, we surely can achieve. I am confident na makukuha natin ang 50% share by 2040 na renewable energy ang ginagamit natin sa ating system. Ngayon, sa reliability, kasama rin naman sa ginagawa ng DOE na ipasok yung battery energy storage system as part ng requirement doon sa ibang installation. At ginagawan din naman namin ng study yan in terms of sa system na ang grid ay nandyan din to help contribute sa reliability ng delivery ng supply coming from these renewable energy sources.
So thank you, Atoy, for that. And that wraps up this edition of our Powering Up series. A big thank you to our panel for such insightful conversations and to our viewers for coming along for the ride. If you'd like to rewatch all 3 episodes or share them with your network, visit the story page link below or in the Rappler Communities app to view the entire series. I'm Ruthie Owen, and this has been Powering Up, Future-Proofing the Philippine Energy Mix. Thank you for watching.